Prince William, clad in full combat dress and a snug beret, stepped boldly into a British tank at a NATO base in Estonia early this morning, a base set just 90 miles from Russia's borders. His entry into the tank was not just a ride, it was a vivid plunge into a world of thunderous engines and gritty determination. As he climbed aboard, you could almost hear the clatter of metal and feel the electric pulse of support for Estonia. Who wouldn't be gripped by the sheer energy of that moment? At Tapa Camp, located under 2 hours' drive from the border, the future king is not merely visiting, he's there in his role as Colonel-in-Chief of the Mercian Regiment. These soldiers are about to embark on a 6-month mission in a region charged with tension, and every step William takes there radiates both leadership and solidarity. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the ground itself was whispering secrets of past battles and future glories. Could this be the turning point they all hoped for? Operation Cabret unfolds like a dramatic play on an international stage. This grand military drill brings together forces from many nations, all united by a promise of collective security and the strength of their bond. William, aged 42, found himself in the midst of a trench warfare drill, a reenactment set against a backdrop some call Putin's backyard. Allied troops, their voices drowned out by the roaring machine guns, launched their simulated assault on an enemy hideout. The scene was both chaotic and strangely mesmerizing. Wearing a protective helmet and clear glasses, the prince first rode in a Challenger 2 tank, where he received a briefing on the day's intense exercise. Soon after, he switched gears and hopped into a warrior infantry fighting vehicle. This change of vehicles was like flipping the channel on a live-action thriller, each mode of transport adding a new twist to his adventure. The warrior he rode was the last of 3 to roll onto the field, and as it approached the scene, it was clear that the exercise had reached a fever pitch. The first 2 warrior vehicles had already taken aim at the enemy trench, their machine guns spitting out rapid fire. Amid this symphony of combat, William's vehicle advanced, offering him an unmatched view from the commander's turret. Above the chaos, Major McNeil took the time to paint a picture of the unfolding action as gunfire crackled and drifting smoke sometimes obscured the view. Was this the raw reality of modern warfare, or a carefully choreographed drill? In a moment that mixed curiosity with authority, William chatted with the Challenger 2 boys, peppering them with questions about the armaments on display. The air was punctuated by bursts of white and yellow smoke, white grenades clouding the enemy's vision, yellow ones marking the front line where allies stood shoulder to shoulder. Overhead, a drone buzzed like a watchful bird, capturing every detail of the simulated battle. The scene felt like a live comic book where every sound, every flash, was a part of a bigger story. After the exercise, the prince's day took an exciting turn. He got behind the wheel of an Archer, a modern mobile artillery vehicle prized by the British Army. This vehicle, with its mighty 155mm 52 caliber gun and a reach of over 50 kilometers, looked every bit as formidable as it sounded. The thrill of handling such power was palpable, a promise of speed and precision that left him grinning. It was a moment that hinted at adventures yet to come. Could this be a glimpse into the future of warfare? A royal aide later shared that William was thrilled to be getting his hands dirty, a phrase that captured his raw desire to show support for Estonia. The visit was more than ceremonial, it was a strong message to a nation balancing close to Russia and hosting NATO troops while welcoming Ukrainian refugees. Operation Cabret, after all, marks one of the largest moves in European security scene in decades. As soldiers trained in everything from small drills to large-scale maneuvers, one couldn't help but wonder, what comes next in this unfolding drama? Estonia, sharing a long 183-mile border with Russia, has seen a notable spike in military activity, with NATO air policing often scrambling to intercept Russian aircraft. Throughout the day, the prince stayed busy at Tapa Camp. He met Estonian troops, observed an official handover ceremony between the Royal Dragoon Guards and the Mercian Regiment, and took a close look at the equipment and training facilities that keep the troops sharp. Amid all this, he also checked in on the welfare team, a human touch in an environment otherwise dominated by metal and strategy. Inside the camp's welfare area, William showed genuine concern about the mental well-being of the soldiers. He asked if the old stigma surrounding mental health was slowly fading away and whether the term mental fitness resonated better with the troops. Sharing a laugh and a light moment, he even promised to arrange for a fridge after discovering that the base lacked one and inquired about the possibility of a toast time machine, all the while confessing his fondness for cheese toasties. These small, human moments broke the tension and added a dash of humor to an otherwise heavy day. Staff Sergeant Amy Jane Hale, who runs the welfare program at Operation Cabret in Estonia and Poland, was there to welcome the prince. They sat down for an honest conversation about the support available to soldiers, discussing how the culture around mental health is gradually shifting in the military. When William learned that she was the only welfare officer on base, his surprise was evident. "One?" he asked, before exploring how many soldiers she helped. It was a genuine inquiry that ended with a shared sense of progress and a hint of hope. Could one person truly make a difference in such a challenging environment? In a brief respite at the base's cinema room, the prince even checked if they were catching the latest films. When he learned that a new hit movie was due to start soon, he nodded approvingly. Yet, the missing fridge had him laughing. "You don't have a fridge? You're joking, right? I'm definitely getting you one." It was a moment of light-hearted banter that reminded everyone that even in serious times, a bit of fun goes a long way. Later, William took the time to speak with 4 fresh-faced soldiers arriving in Estonia. He asked them how they felt about being posted so close to the Russian border, a question that carried both concern and excitement. "It must focus the mind, knowing what's happening out there," he remarked, pointing out that the area felt more like an operational zone than a mere training ground. His experience riding in a Challenger 2 was a topic of amused conversation, with him joking about churning up mud and making a mess along the way. The insights he shared about observing the conflict in Ukraine were as thoughtful as they were candid, leaving everyone to ponder the real challenges ahead. Back at base, the competitive spark in the prince couldn't be hidden. After a quick tour of the NAFI canteen, a friendly challenge over table football was issued by Company Sergeant Major WO2 Daniel Hutton, a self-confessed fan of a local soccer team. "This is a big match," William joked, hinting that losing such a game might stick with him forever. But with a swift goal, his side clinched victory, and he laughed off the challenge, his playful spirit lighting up the room. Even a brief round of pool later on added to the relaxed atmosphere, as soldiers on a 6-month deployment joined in the conversation. The NAFI, a recent addition to the base, has become a cherished spot where troops can unwind, watch TV, and enjoy a warm meal or a hot drink. The adjoining shop even stocks little comforts from home, like tea bags, a detail that did not escape the prince's notice. He seemed particularly intrigued by the presence of a sauna, a novelty on a military base in the UK, and joked about the image of sweaty soldiers and the need to stay hydrated. His humor, mingled with genuine curiosity, made it clear that every small detail mattered. Elsewhere, he discussed the differences between spring and winter deployments at the camp, where temperatures can plummet to -20°C. "It's my first time in Estonia," he remarked, recalling a conversation with the Estonian president about the importance of their presence. The words echoed like a promise, urging everyone to give their best. The prince also met French troops working alongside British and Estonian forces, sharing a light-hearted bonjour while trying his hand at some French banter, his own admission of a ropey grasp on the language adding to the charm of the moment. After these personal encounters, the prince returned to a more formal setting. At the NATO base, just 125 miles from the Russian border, he was greeted by UK Defence Attaché Rob Hall. Here, soldiers from the 1st Estonian Brigade were introduced to him, and he spent time chatting with 13 selected soldiers about their first 6 months of training. "How's it working with the Brits?" "You don't have to be overly nice just because I'm here," he teased, drawing a round of chuckles. When one soldier mentioned that spring had just begun, the prince remarked on the recent sunshine in Tallinn, even if the chill had returned, a playful reminder of the changing seasons and the hope that comes with them. Throughout the day, the prince made sure his visit kept everyone alert. As Colonel-in-Chief of the Mercian Regiment, he oversaw a ceremonial handover at Tapa Camp from the Royal Dragoon Guards to his own regiment, stationed a mere 80 miles from the Russian frontier. With the royal flag flying proudly alongside those of NATO allies, he toured an array of military vehicles, from the Archer to the Warrior, even glancing at a French Griffin, an MLRS, and a Trojan on the parade square. In each encounter, he asked soldiers about their experiences and future drills, his curiosity mingling with genuine care for their well-being. "How's it going? Is this your first time in Estonia? Good luck, I hope everything goes really well," he said, his words echoing with optimism and challenge. Meeting French soldiers at the base further underscored the international teamwork that defines these operations. "It's great to have such a partnership," he noted, a comment that resonated deeply amid the rumble of engines and the shuffle of boots on gravel. William, who took on the role of Colonel-in-Chief in 2023, has a legacy to uphold, a legacy now charged with new energy as he drives a tank, watches training exercises, and listens to the voices of soldiers from all walks of life. In every moment, from the thunder of tanks to the gentle banter over a missing fridge, the day at Tapa Camp painted a picture of commitment, camaraderie, and a quiet determination to face the future. As the sun dipped lower on the base, one couldn't help but wonder, what surprises does tomorrow hold in this living, breathing testament to unity and strength?